The crowd didn't shout. They watched. Dust floated in the late afternoon sun as a pregnant widow stood on a wooden crate, a rope tight around her neck. Her hands were tied. Her dress was torn at the knees. She wasn't crying anymore. Because when hope dies, tears stop first. They said she helped her husband rob a supply train. They said justice had to be quick, no trial, no mercy. At the edge of the crowd stood Caleb Holt, a gunman known across 3 counties. Cold eyes, fast trigger, no hesitation. He was paid to keep order, to shoot if anyone interfered. The preacher started reading the final words. The sheriff nodded. The crate was about to be kicked. Then the woman screamed, not in fear, in pain. She doubled over, gasping, whispering one word through cracked lips. "My baby." The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Pregnant or not, they believed the rope didn't care. Caleb's hand tightened on his revolver for the first time in years. His finger hesitated. "Stop!" The word cut through the silence like a gunshot. Everyone turned. Caleb stepped forward. The sheriff laughed. "You getting soft, Holt?" Caleb didn't answer. He looked at the woman's belly, round, trembling. Looked at the rope biting into her neck. "I'll take responsibility," Caleb said. "If she's guilty, hang me with her." The crowd erupted. Men shouted. Women whispered. Someone spat. The sheriff leaned closer. "You know the rules. You break them, you die." Caleb walked past him, climbed onto the platform. With one sharp motion, he cut the rope. The woman collapsed into his arms, sobbing as air rushed back into her lungs. For a moment, the world stood still. Then guns were raised. Caleb turned slowly, placing himself between the rifles and the woman. "You shoot," he said calmly. "You'll have to live knowing you killed a mother and an unborn child." Silence again. Finally, the sheriff cursed and waved his hand. "Get them out of here." That night, Caleb hid the widow in an abandoned barn. He planned to leave by dawn. He didn't know the baby would come early. Labor hit just before sunrise. No doctor, no midwife, just Caleb shaking hands and a woman screaming through clenched teeth. Hours passed. Then a cry. A small, fragile life entered the world on a dirty blanket. Caleb wrapped the baby carefully and handed him to the mother. But when the baby opened his eyes, Caleb froze. Those eyes, the same deep gray, the same shape. His breath caught in his throat, because years ago he had pulled a trigger during a job gone wrong. A man died. A pregnant woman screamed. Caleb never stayed to see the child, until now. The baby stared at him calmly. No fear, no hate, just innocence. Caleb's hands began to shake. He walked outside the barn, pulled his revolver from his belt, and dropped it into the dirt. The sound echoed louder than any gunshot he'd ever fired. He fell to his knees and cried for the first time since he was a boy. Caleb never picked up a gun again. He escorted the widow and her child safely out of town, found them work, found them protection. As for him, he stayed behind. When people asked why the deadliest gunman in the county now carried no weapon, he answered simply, "Because I looked into the eyes of a child who should have hated me, and he didn't." Years later, children would run past a quiet man fixing fences, never knowing he once decided who lived and who died. Some stories don't end with revenge. They end with redemption. If this story moved you, if you believe even the darkest souls can change, subscribe for more powerful stories like this, and comment below, should redemption always be given a chance? More stories are coming, and they're only getting stronger.